Hello everybody, and welcome to Cyberpunk Day. Yes, that's right. Today is Cyberpunk Day, and I am doing an awesome showcase with the Tracy Brothers, with Clockwork Bird, and with Tailcrafter, who do respectively Cyber Knights Flashpoint, Silicon Dreams, and Death Trash. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, we're just gonna go straight into a trailer because yeah, it's gonna be rad. Look at me with my transitions and things. It's gonna be great. Well, hello there. How are you? Oh, hello? Hang on.
Sorry,
Oh,
my
hello.
mic turned on. Doing well.
Ah, excellent. Good. Right. That's fine. Hang on. With the player's gone weird. We already have a technical hitch. Ah, there we go. Okay, we good. It's fine. I just minimized something. It all went horribly wrong. But yeah, how are you? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you
Oh,
so much for
absolutely.
asking me to do this. I get to do cyber weirdness today. It's so good. But yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your game?
Hi, I'm Andrew Tracy. I am one of the brothers behind Tracy Brothers Games, and we are currently working on a Cyberpunk heist RPG, which is in a lot of ways a mix of some XCOM like tactical combat and stealth mechanics and hacking that you might have seen and loved. And you can think back to classic games like the Sega Shadowrun game. I had a really deep hacking minigame, and those all come together in a mission-based RPG.
Nice. I've just realized I've frozen you because I had to tab out. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
I was looking good though.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's not Cyberpunk without a few glitches in the feed. That's very true. Yeah. So, what was the inspiration for this?
Uh, for us, Cyber Knights comes from pen and paper games that we played when we were younger, made a lot of them when we were younger and played. And what we are really looking to do actually is to try to create that feeling of a pen and paper game uh, in an RPG. So
Mm-hmm.
for us, a lot of what happens in a cyberpunk game is when you get a new mission, you've got something you've got to do. You don't ever just like run to the weapons locker, grab the guns, jump in the van, drive to the mission, right? So you've got to call some guy who lives under the bridge. You've got to get the special explosives.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay off a security guard to get you a access pass that'll let you in the back door. There's all this exciting legwork because it builds up the world and it's the network of people you know and the enemies you're making as you go. So that's
Ooh.
why we're working on a heist. We call it a heist RPG. That you don't just get a mission and go. You get a mission and then you do enough prep work to
Mm.
make it possible, and then you go.
Nice. So you got to go all around the houses and get everybody.
Who do you know? Who can you bribe? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, bribes, wonderful. I noticed it's got dogs in it as well.
Yes, and actually cats, thanks to our excited and very enthusiastic Kickstarter backers.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
they like, can you have the dogs, or are they, sort of like an enemy thing?
No, this is a team thing. So within your team, you can have either two different classes in your group can have companion animals. So you can have a hunter who like a pack master, and they can have multiple dogs. So there's sort of the alpha of a pack of dogs, and then there's the rare assassin class who has a cat. Always a single cat. That's kind of their style.
Oh my god, that's awesome. So
So
does the cat have like laser beams and things?
we're working on different types of weaponry. Right now, it's mostly clawing and biting and jumping on things from
Okay, okay.
shadows. But
Hear me out. Hear me out. Laser claws.
hey, I understand that it's quite easy actually because the eyes are already cybernetic. You just have to
Laser
add,
eyes.
yeah, it's there. We're one step away, one sound effect and one visual effect away from.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. Sorry, I'm just getting all carried away
No,
because
you're good.
laser cats.
Yeah, we were. It's just one of the artists who's working on the dogs loves dogs. Obviously, they picked good people for him,
They
and
are
we were
nice.
surprised when they turned the model over. One of the dogs has a giant cannon in its mouth. They made us like they didn't tell us, and they made this animation where
That
it'll go
is.
ah, and like a cannon will come out and go poof. That's really funny. We have to figure out how to use that, but it was a surprise.
Oh my god! Wow. Yeah. So oh, don't mind him. His bark is worse than his. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean it? Oh god. That's absolutely awesome. But yeah, so laser cats, laser dogs. Wow. I love it. I love the trailer and things. I'm really excited to see what you do with it. It's so is it turn based? It's turn based, right?
Yes, it is
Yes.
turn-based. We really like that style, and we feel like especially for a squad-based game, it's really hard to find, the right balance if you're doing real time. And there's, like you'd find in a lot of XCOM-like games, there's a heavy, emphasis on cover and making the right decisions and kind
Mm.
of managing your limited number of actions you can take and doing, coordinating attacks between your characters. Everybody is even you can see with the cat and the dog ideas, there are really big differences in the classes. So you've got really sneaky guys, and people have to get up super close, and characters who are going to excel at a distance or behind cover or using different abilities to sort of funnel enemies into the meat grinder and things. So making it turn-based gives you the option to really like
Yeah,
build
yeah.
and execute a strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, I like turn-based games because they're a lot less hectic. Because anything that's not turn-based, I'm just like I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like,
Mash, mash,
yeah,
mash.
it's nice to be
Yeah.
able to sort of like just look and go, I need a cup of tea, and then I'm going to come back to this because I've
Yeah.
no idea what I'm doing. It's all gone horribly wrong. Time for a nice cuppa.
Well, that does happen in this sort of game. You can get squad members will get wounded, will get bad traits, we'll need to go see the cyber doc, nasty grenade explosion might take an arm off and you gotta go, live with a cybernetic arm for the rest of your days. But
Wait, wait,
hey,
wait. You get upgrades?
yeah, it's one of the things we think is very cool about uh cyber augmentation. There's so many interesting angles to it. Um being able to just be more than human. Lots of people look at it different ways. One of the things that we'd like to do in the game we're working on is have it as a way to sort of, you become a machine because of you become more machine because of your career choice as a mercenary. You're going into the field of fire. You're taking all sorts of awful hits and risks and things, and one of the ways you can live with those scars, your leg just doesn't work as well as it used to, or you can have those faulty or cracked bones replaced with titanium and run faster. So it's actually one of the ways you can mitigate negative traits in the game and permanent wounds is to replace those body parts with cyberware.
Just whip that biological junk off. Who wants it anyway? Real
Yeah.
flesh? No, not me.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I would absolutely have cyber eyes if I could, because
Laser eyes, is that why? Is that
I don't need laser eyes. I've already got the glare. Oh Oh my god, yeah. Line Noises just said the key feature of a Rottweiler mounted cannon is a tennis ball launching mode.
Ah, yes, there you go. Keep the rest of the dogs happy. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Oh my god. Also, very important question: can you pet the dogs?
Yes, yes, you can pet the dogs.
Game of the year, right there. Not even out. Game of the year.
Yeah. That was definitely a requirement when we knew we were gonna have dogs in the game.
It's like, yeah, you have to be able to pet the animals because So, it's like with all the side questy stuff, is sort of like how story heavy is that going to be?
One of the things that we really want to make sure that we are creating an RPG that focuses on the characters. In this space, a lot of games end up just sort of feeling a bit more global or strategic, and you're looking at trying to save the world and not so much about what's going on within your squad. So
Mm,
we would really like to make it much more of a personal story. Most of them are young people coming out of desperate situations or fallen out of some situation, um, and are taking a very much like double or nothing, devil may care, live or die young kind of approach to life.
hmm
So we want to focus on that. We think it's really cool, a ground for storytelling. The people in your squad are going to have problems they're going to need help with. They're going to develop over time. They're going to have family members. So we're looking to make it much more personal RPG, and then try to suck you into that.
Oh, I
Um,
like that. Yeah, it's like I'm quite frankly I am bored of the you must save the world. I rather like
yeah,
no, my friend
one more
has a
time.
problem, must fix it. It's like you must nurture your party members for they are precious.
Yes, yeah. Pick well.
Oh yes, many games. I'm just like, oh, this game's all right. Wait, you can solve this person's problem. Oh, I'm in. That's it. I'm always very much about the sort of like the character driven stuff. Yes. Um, does chat have any questions? We could probably field a couple of questions from chat, I reckon. Hmm. Is there going to be an achievement for petting the dog?
That's interesting. I don't know. Some achievements are, yeah, you get those like automatic achievements. I guess you'd have to get a dog. So yeah, that sounds reasonable. Don't
Yeah.
get them for free.
Yeah, and not
It's not like
everybody's going to
somebody.
pet that dog, right? You
That's
do get
true.
some
That's true.
monsters in the game,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that's true. You get
Bo would like to know when the alpha's coming out.
So we've just announced an alpha release date of early January 2022. So we're really excited. It's been a long road to get here,
Nice.
and for our Kickstarter backers who joined us, uh, we have about 1,000 players joining the alpha, and we are going to open up the role one last time, open the door one last time for players who want to get in. So if you want to join follow our social channels, wishlist the game on Steam, or keep an eye on the news announcements there, you can. There's still one last shot to get in before we kick off in January.
Ooh, shiny. Liliana Sky Mage asks 5D multiverse time travel elements?
Yeah, time travel is no. That's not. I don't ever really want to crack that in a game. I think that would make things very
There's not enough
complicated.
whiteboards in the world.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that,
that's
that's
true.
that's a whiteboards and string thing. That's a. You need some wizards or something, some actual wizards.
Yeah, or I think you need to wrap the entire game around that idea. It's very hard to be like, oh yeah, all this other stuff in the game plus
Yeah,
time travel.
yeah, simple. What could be simple? A bit of
Yeah,
time
just
travel.
this one side quest involves time travel, but you can never think about it again.
Oh god, that's like the thing in Dishonored 2. The crack in the slab. The weird time travel
Mm.
level. That was weird.
Yeah, well, I guess you can use it as a weird element too, so you get away with it.
Yeah. So they had a they had a slightly larger dev team, just a little bit
Yeah,
bigger.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The multiple of some number, I'm not sure.
Mm. Right. Playa says, will it only be available on Steam or are other stores planned?
We are planning other stores. Steam is going to be where we launch the game to early access. We really like their early access program. We use it in our way to bring a very finished game to the table that still needs content, and then to hammer out 80 some updates and then release the game to the larger community. So it'll start on Steam, but then we are headed elsewhere. We're hoping we will port the game to mobile. We're hoping to get it onto some like the Switch, and you know, I can't make any commitments about other stores because all of them are really up to the store owners. Game, we'd love to be on Epic, but that's up to them. We'd love to get on Xbox and things, but again, they own those stores. We've never been through them, so if they let us through, maybe this will be the game.
Hmm. Interesting. What was I oh god, hang on. There was a question. It's gone. What will the party composition be? Main character plus hired help, gang with multiple members.
So, Kindred, we are focusing on. There is a main character. It's your Cyber Knight. The character who has this pretty unique spinal implant. They have a quantum rider implanted in their spinal cord. Kind of gives them a special place within the underworld as like the leader of a team that can be trusted with the most dangerous and most secret type of work. So the real
Hmm.
covert ops going in the underworld are handed to that type of team. If you have something that's not so important, maybe you're hiring some gangers or a syndicate that might be able to get it done, but the really good stuff is going to a Cyber Knight and their team. So you are the leader of the team. You'll have a face on your team who's sort of the face of all your negotiations, and you'll sort of be able to pick their abilities. They'll never go into combat with you, and then you will hire the rest of your mercenary team through. Some of them are the starting characters, so you'll make role-playing choices about who they are, where they came from, how you know them, why they're with you, and whether or not you trust them. And then you will from there encounter and hire more mercenaries through the story and through different contacts in the world and things like that. So it'll be a relatively smaller team, 10, 12 people maximum when you're getting big. And you have a lead and a face character who's kind of plays a special role.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's yeah. So yeah, that sounds awesome. So what's the like? So the faces. Do you choose the face or do you start off with them?
You will start with one, but we're looking at kind of there will be sort of an extended character creation phase that's you can skip if you want to just get, the game will produce a nice mix for you. But if you want to go into it, we'll be allowing you to pick the face, and we want, relationships being a big part of what keeps a team together and keeps trust high enough that this works. We'll be wanting to figure out like, how do you know this person? How long have you worked with them? Like, why are they with you? Especially in that first crew, we're gonna, the initial crew that you start with, we're gonna be looking for a lot of those answers. Like, where did you guys? Or this somebody you went to primary school with? Did you drop out of the police academy together? It's an old family friend, like, yeah, etc. So the face we expect would fit into that category as well. Somebody you must have known from life. Maybe not.
Hmm,
Maybe pick like I don't have, I don't know him. We just did one job together, so we'll see what all those options are. But
nice.
you will have control over them. Like a character, they are of all the mercs in the squad, the closest to you. They're very much your right hand guy or girl, who will be sort of backing you up and doing a lot of the talking. So they're kind of in the dialogue and the story system. We've found we also wanted to have somebody who wasn't you, who had their own personality and traits,
Mm,
who could chat with the main character off to the
mm.
side
Little bit
about
of
events.
yeah, a little bit of exposition, sort of like
Yeah, and they
yeah.
can you can bounce ideas back in you and the face can make decisions like in a private room together, which feels better than the night being like, what should I do about this? I'll just talk to myself for a while, and the face will have a background. Maybe they're ex-corporate, maybe they came off the
Mm,
street, and so that allows them to bring a different take to events in the game based on what you picked and how everything's played out.
mm. One last question. Right, Kindred says, how long would the typical mission take to complete? Assuming early game missions are shorter and late game missions are longer.
Yes, that's definitely the case. And some of the missions, depending on kind of the prep time, some of the missions can be pretty quick, 10, 15 minutes. And then some of the extended missions are actually multi-phase. So, you might do a 15-minute map to break into the facility, and then a 15-minute map to um, take out a security checkpoint, and then a 15-minute map at the end to do the final objective. And then you've wrapped it up. And they're big kind of break, you'll transition off the map and have um, a checkpoint between those, so it's not one extended thing that you can't quit out of, but or that you feel like you have to finish. But um, that's one of the ways we've looked at kind of giving you this bigger feel, because we want, and in that, one thing we really like is that the risks and the spend that you've done. So if you throw a grenade or use your med kits breaking into the facility, you've sort of depleted some of the resources that you need, two phases later, when you're in the final throwdown at the quantum computer and your hacker's trying to finish the hack and the guards are piling in. You're like, oh, where's that grenade? I shouldn't have thrown it. So we like stringing them together in ways that kind of up the challenge. It provides a way that, instead of, in an XCOM thing where it's like you go out and you come back, if you want an increased challenge, it has to be all right in that one map. So that map has to be super hard, but we can build up challenge by kind of making them serial in that way.
Cool. That sounds absolutely awesome. Right. Oh, well, I've got to go on to the next one now. Thank you so very much for talking to me.
Absolutely. It's been
And
awesome.
thank you. I shall, yeah,
Yeah.
catch you later.
All right.
Right. Next. Hang on. Let me do the dip. Look at me. I'm organized. Right. Good. And yeah, the next one up is Silicon Dreams. Okie doke then. Daniel Adams, welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Good.
Through.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Oh, I was just making sure I can be heard.
You
I'm not
can, yes, yeah.
muted.
You just faded out ever so slightly then because, sort of like, everything's fine. Oh, God.
The panic, I know. I know
but-
it well.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself and the game and things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to. So I'm Danny, one of two of the developers at Clockwork Bird. This is our first game together called Silicon Dreams. It is a cyberpunk interrogation simulator. You can think of it's calling on a lot of touchstones, but you could think of like Neo Cab meets Papers, Please, and given the Voight-Kampff test by Decker from Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's got some very strong Blade Runner DNA, and I like that about it.
Absolutely.
I might have downloaded the demo last night just to have a quick look at it and accidentally played it for like 2 hours.
Fantastic.
Just
And
have a
how
quick
many?
look.
I'm just always so curious to hear from different people. How many characters did you play in that time? Did you make it through the full demo?
I did not know. I was taking my time, so
Amazing.
but yeah, I was just I sort of I was just like, ooh, Am I the baddies? I'm the baddies. How bad can I be? How good can I be? Oh, that's not good.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, that's the perfect way to introduce this game because over time we've sort of realized this is a difficult type of game to pitch. It's kind of visual novel plus 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 a little bit, like a visual novel with some more stuff tacked onto it. But we don't have voice acting. We sadly couldn't afford it. The graphics are like not great. We'll be
The
the first
graphics
to
are
admit
what
it.
they need to be. They are,
Exactly.
they're simplistic. They are, what's the word?
Yep.
Stylized. It's stylized, god damn it.
Hmm. And in developer speak, affordable.
Yeah,
But the
that's
story of the game is really where our attention lies, in the sort of like maneuverability that you have in terms of the player expressing their own morality in this space.
mm,
How do you want to interrogate your subjects? Do you want to use these tools that force them to be angry? Or will you choose to not use it, even though it might help you complete the interrogation successfully?
angry or afraid. I
Yeah.
might have used that one. I was just like, am I the baddies? I want to subliminally just influence this person rather than actually just threatening
Mhm,
them outright. That would
mhm,
be better, right?
mhm.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And sometimes it depends. We tried to write a game with a lot of nuance, with a lot of character, and with a lot of sort of diversity in the paths that you can take through the interrogation, and brought all of these elements together. The information that you learned, whether it was under duress and you forced them to reveal it or not, uh, their emotional state at any given time, the information you want to learn, and the questions that your company needs from you, all of these elements come together to push and pull the player in different directions and
Mm,
see where you fall on this spectrum. Um,
yes. And if if you're like me and try not to be hideously evil, it's also the okay. How much can I get away with before I, have really bad things happen to me as well?
exactly.
Just
And
surfing
just
that line.
exactly, just another one of the things pulling you in a certain direction is self-preservation. Do you want to sacrifice, maybe is the right word, one of your subjects to make yourself look better, so the company believes that you're doing a good job, so that you can then save the next one?
Yeah. Or do you just half-ass everything just enough?
Right. Just to survive. Just
Yeah.
save the ones you can, be good enough. Yeah, these are all valid play styles through the game, and they will all yield a different ending, a different side to certain characters.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's super niche. When people hear cyberpunk, they think Cyberpunk 2077 and beautiful neon open worlds and fancy guns and body mods that let you have knives that can slice people. That's not this game, right? That's very much
This
the
is basically
technology.
just that scene in Blade Runner. Tell me
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
turtle, you know,
exactly. That's the entirety of this game.
but with less cigarettes.
With fewer, yeah, correct. There are no cigarettes in our game.
I might have
um,
watched Blade Runner far too many times.
Smart, super smart. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the classic, and that influenced the game through and through.
Mm. Especially
Um,
the most in the sort of the most sort of obvious bit is the eyeball, in the top
yeah,
right.
oh yeah,
That's
oh yeah. I think it's so fantastic. Just again, from a game designer's perspective, something like that takes up so much screen real estate, where we could have put other information, like it could have had more of a function, but all it really does is just stare at you. And I think the emotional weight of that inclusion totally justifies the amount of space it takes on the screen.
I did notice. I think that it sort of like it dilates if they're like not having a great
Yeah,
time as well.
correct. That's true. Yeah, it does that.
It's just like, oh no, I'm a baddie. Look.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's not very concise introduction to what the game is. If you have questions or things you're curious about from when you played it, I'm here to answer.
I'm trying to think. I think I mostly sort of like I think you've answered all the questions I would have had. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so how much more is there like sort of like because the demo was pretty long. There's like a lot to the demo.
Yeah, the demo is 3 characters, and so that is. Oh, I think your audio just cut out,
Did it?
and we're back. Okay.
Ah, interesting.
Um, so the demo is 3 characters long. Um, In the game as it exists right now, there's the potential to see 11 characters.
Mhm.
Kind of. That's a little bit of a fuzzy count, but if I say more, it'll spoil some things. On the 12th, that is Tuesday next week, we are releasing a free content update with 2 new characters.
Ooh,
Yeah, co-written with Matthew Goodwin, who's one of the hosts and organizers for Cyberpunk Day.
nice.
Um, wrote a series of novels. Into Neon is the name of the first one. So he sort of helped us come up with the character concepts and do some of the early writing. And we were able to polish them up enough, and they're coming now. So if you own the game at any time, at any point, if you bought it already or if you buy it after the 12th, these 2 new characters will be included.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're really excited to get those out. So that would be a total of 13. And I've heard estimates of playtime anywhere between 2.5 hours for a single playthrough. I think is a bit on the short side for me. I play a bit slower and more methodically.
That's kind of a
Uh,
speed run any percent kind of thing,
Bit of
right?
exactly. It's not the high score, but it's pretty close.
Hmm.
I'd say about 4 hours for a standard run through the game, and then there are a couple different endings if you want to play it super different, and you can see some more stuff.
Because you could
Yeah,
definitely do the sort of like nice as pie run, and then the I'm an evil corpo bot run for definite.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does chat have any questions? Should field some questions
Okay.
from chat because
Mhm.
they always come up with weird stuff. Ooh, any
See.
plans to add content down the line after the free content? Oh, is there going to be any DLC?
That's as it is right now. This will be the last bit of content for Silicon Dreams. Sadly, it wasn't able to make back its development cost yet, and so it's horrific, I think. But as a business person, as an indie dev, you just have to make certain choices, and it doesn't make sense to keep making content for a game that hasn't really been bringing in the bucks. So as much as we'd love to explore more storylines, more characters, we have a document full of 20 or 30 characters that didn't make the cut for this game
But
that we still think are fascinating, but
dev's got to eat.
devs got to eat.
Yeah.
So if you want to see DLC or more content in the game, tell everyone you know to buy it, and then we'll think about it.
Maybe it'll suddenly go. Bing!
It's possible. It's possible. It might be a sleeper. Who knows?
Possible.
Anyway, you don't have to buy it. There's a free demo, as Fuzz said. So please check it out.
You
if it
should
sounds like
yeah,
something
you should
up your
play the demo and then you should buy the game because genuinely it's real good.
alley. Yep. And I
All
think
right.
if it's not there already, it will be there soon. That the transition from the demo into the main game is seamless. So you can get the demo, upgrade, and you'll have your progress and continue from exactly where you left off.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So Malay has in fact just bought the game.
Very
Right.
cool. Happy to hear it. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoy it.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Yes. What was I going to say? Among Us has proven that anything can happen.
Mhm.
That's true, actually. When did that come out? Ages ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a 5-year delay between its release and the spike, if I'm not mistaken. Crazy
Life is
things.
weird. Yeah. Life is weird. Business is weird. Everything's just weird. I'm trying to think
Sure
of
is.
anything else I can ask you because, like, I have an awful lot of questions, but
Mhm.
I can't think of any right now because
Maybe I'll ask you some just to get
Oh God, no!
chat curious. Oh, sure. No, it'll be fun. What did you do to Alex, the sort of tutorial introduction character? Did she survive your interrogation?
I tried, but no, she got like there was an attempt. I was just like, no, she's fine, honest, and they were like, no, she's not. We dock you some points, and I'm just like, you bastards. Oh, I see.
Oh,
I see how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
The big eye is about to appear on screen. Oh no, am I going to get strapped into the chair? Is that, the electrodes are coming. I know it.
It can happen.
Oh, no.
It can happen.
Yeah. So I like the weird meta plot you get as well with the little emails that are just like, hey, do this thing, and you're like, I hope this is the goodies because I'm doing it. Well, goodies for a given value of goodies.
a lot of little goodies, a lot of little snippets and threads of stories that may or may not turn into anything depending on how you play your hand. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of flexibility. There's a number of things that can happen.
Yeah. I definitely sort of feel like I want to replay it just to go back and like do things more optimally.
Mhm.
So it definitely has replay value for because I'm just there going like, okay, so I shouldn't have I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I would have done that differently. Maybe I'll go back and do that again. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's I wouldn't say it has a huge amount of replay value. I think there's definitely a lot there for people who want to just like 100% see everything there is to see. I think there's a lot of value in it for people who want to like see a few different endings that they care about. Excuse me. Um, but I think one of the reasons it doesn't have a huge amount of replay value is not because the characters are so diverse, but because they all have a personality.
Mm,
Like you can get them to say different things that you wouldn't hear if you had made them angry at the very start, right?
mm.
Um, but they won't sort of change the story. They might stop hiding information, but they won't lie and make up more information.
Yeah.
Like the character is the character. They know what they know. They are who they are, and they express that in terms of their emotions. And I
Mm.
think we did a really cool job of bringing that through. Um, that
Oh.
when you sort of like try to make them angry and say something that you'd rather not say, but you want to provoke them, I think you feel something when you make that choice in the game.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at I'm really bad at being mean to people in games. So I'm just there going like, "Ooh, oh no,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
can't."
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Ironically, I'm the sort of person who picks destroy and destroys the Geth in Mass Effect 3. Well, okay, I save the Geth and then
Hmm.
I destroy the Geth because trolley problem. Um,
Right.
I always feel bad about it though, so I'm just there going like,
Yeah.
"Oh no."
Yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling, and it's
Hmm.
always a tough choice.
Yeah,
This is a game that does not hesitate to put you in that situation time after time after time after time after time.
cool.
Um, yeah.
Kindred said, "How are the main characters different from one another?"
How are the main characters different from one another? So there are well, they're all different. I think for the most part, they're all androids, with a few exceptions. The interrogator, you play as an android, um, and so you have this sort of shared world experience, much the same that every human does. But we wanted to tell a story about personhood and depression. Really tackle the low life side of the high tech low life cyberpunk, like the defining cyberpunk mantra. So we wanted to focus on stories of oppression, stories of personhood, who gets to exist and in which capacity. Um, Typical sci-fi cyberpunk android fare,
Yeah,
discussing oppression and slavery and how do we feel about these
yeah,
things? Does it change because it's a robot?
yeah. I mean, because like they're literally referred to as appliances. What is it? And
Yeah.
the company is like the family of things, which
Uh-huh,
obviously
exactly.
references the Internet of Things and that.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to bring in a lot of that just like creepy corporate goody trying to like be
Oh yeah,
popular mood.
yeah. Oh, it
Hmm.
worked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are some emails that are essentially kill this person now. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yep. I'm just there like, I don't know about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like I
Not
don't
sure.
even have intelligent light bulbs. I oh no,
Right.
don't trust them. Don't trust them.
Hmm.
But if my light bulb
Um.
started talking, I'd probably be polite to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that answered the question. How are the characters different from one another? They're all unique. They all have different experiences. At the very least, they went to different owners and do different jobs. Um, but they've developed personalities as well. And some of their owners think that personality is a problem, and you'll have to fix them or not,
Hmm,
and suffer the consequences.
hmm.
Um,
I mean, you also feel kind of powerless because even if you're like, oh no, they're fine, sort of like there's a non-zero chance that the company's just going to be like, no. Bzz.
yeah, very true.
So
Oh,
you are
shout
quite
out to
powerless.
Noise. Sorry,
Hmm?
Spin Mortality was Jamie's solo game that was released before this one. There's no crossover in terms of content or storylines. They are uniquely independent, entirely independent. I guess the one common thread would be again that equation that I mentioned, the high tech, low life part of Cyberpunk. Spin Mortality was very much a macro view, controlling a mega corporation, being oppressive, like turning human suffering into money from a higher scale. And this one, we really wanted to zoom in and focus on individual people's stories and see how living under this kind of future would affect people emotionally.
Because God, it's a grim future.
God, it's so good.
I love it. It's just like, wow, yeah, yeah, that seems all too believable. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a heavy one, but it's good.
It is. It's heavy but good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all we have time for because I've got to get on to contestant
Yes.
number 3, as it were.
I do not want to take their time. Thank you so much.
Hey, no, this has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you so very much. Okay, next up is Death Trash. All right then, and now we have Stefan from Tailcrafter, who is the lead dev of Death Trash. Welcome, Stefan.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, and thanks for having me here.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself and Death Trash.
Yeah, I'm Stefan, working with my company Crafting Legends on the post-apocalyptic and a bit cyberpunkish action RPG Death Trash. It's in development since 2015 actually, and recently we've launched our early access version on Steam, GOG, Epic Game Store, and itch. And we are planning to have the full game ready either next year or whenever it's finished. And for most of that time, I've been working on it as a solo developer, but since last year, we are actually 2 people now. So we're making good progress right now.
Awesome, yeah, and I played the early access version, and I've been hyped about Death Trash for like, God, ever since like a couple of years now, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw it on Twitter, I was just like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, that's pretty funky. Vomit bar? Ooh.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice to hear.
yeah, you had me at Flesh Kraken. I love the Flesh Kraken. It's adorable.
He's a favorite among people. Like,
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
Flesh Kraken plushies. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, we have actually one here already, like custom made.
You need to make you need to make Flesh Kraken I mean, it's probably a terrible idea and you won't actually make any money on them, but I just really want a Flesh Kraken plushie now. Yeah. Kids love cuddly Flesh Krakens.
It's a possibility. We've been thinking about it, yeah.
So yeah, you should do it. You should totally do it. Just saying. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So talk me through, like, what was the inspiration for Death Trash? Like, what aspect of cyberpunk inspired you?
Yeah, so actually, the cyberpunk is more like a side thing. So
Mm.
it started more like a really post-apocalyptic RPG, and Fallout, the older Fallout games were more like the templates for it, or like the very first thought of inspiration. And then more stuff came in, and it was pretty clear that it also got some sci-fi elements. But this, in contrast with low life people in the world, and like the broken society, and topics of transhumanism and others, made me also think it also has a good part of cyberpunk in it.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely got, something of a cyberpunk aesthetic to it.
yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes you could call it more like futuristic or sci-fi, but like especially the contrast. The main topic of the game is like meat versus machines. So, and meat could also be explained as humans or humanity, and then it's either like the transformism towards machines, or the like. They are like enemies, like the contrast of meat versus machines. So
Yeah.
I think that's also could be an element of cyberpunk, and it's very heavily focused on in Death Trash.
Yeah. Yeah, Mangle Pork saying, I love flesh punk. Yeah, flesh punk is just, absolutely what I would probably describe it as. I love it. But yeah, the machines definitely seem like absolute jerks in this.
They are, and so right now we have an early access version out, and it's like the first of 3 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And the first chapter is more focused really on the meat inhabitants of the world, and the further chapters, they will focus a bit more on the machines. So that the full topic of meat versus machines comes as the central topic. Like
Ooh.
if you would play it right now, you would like think, if I'm talking about it like that, like where are all the machines? Like they're still coming to the game.
Yeah. And, sort of like they've booted you out. They don't want anything to do with you for now. You've got to, get back to that later. You have to, I'm assuming you have to become more powerful. Kind of
Maybe
thing.
it's like the typical RPG thing, right? Like
Yeah.
in some way you will become more powerful in the game. Yeah, of course.
Become God, invade cyber heaven.
No, maybe.
That's yeah, I love it though. I was gonna say, oh yeah, Line Noise says, like Line Noise is talking about the art style. Like they apparently really like the fog of war effect, which I really like the fog of war effect as well.
Mhm. Like on the world map, or
Yeah,
where?
yeah. As you travel the world map, just how it's sort of like, just the fog of war sort of thing. It's really nice.
Yeah. Like my main focus on the game, or what I really like to cover, is exploration. So that's also because the game has such a big scope, basically, like a world map.
Mm.
You visit a lot of places, you meet a lot of interesting stuff and characters, and if the exploration will work out in the end, then it's like the main thing covered for me. And
Yeah.
to the world map it belongs, that you will like step by step discover more places.
Yeah, yeah. I really like the exploration. It's just it's quite satisfying to just sort of uncover the map and then you find and the maps are like, I like the size of the individual maps kind of thing as well. The levels, as it were, because they're big enough that you can explore and find little nooks and crannies, but they're not so big you're just like, oh god, I've got to backtrack again. I like the scope of it. It's just right, I'd say.
Yeah, what's important for me also was like getting the pacing right. and that means like having not too large areas. Yeah, of course, there has to be enough stuff that the individual area is interesting enough to explore, but it doesn't have to get too big, because then it's annoying to wander around.
Yeah, you're just there like, oh no, I need to go back over here to find this thing, and oh, it's going to take me like 10 minutes. Oh no. But there are little, hidden nooks and crannies, and you can find things, and it's I just like that, just sort of like exploring feels rewarding but not, onerous kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Sorry. Lord of Sin saying, I love games that feature FOW but love it more when things can change when you leave an area, so some dynamic change can be found when you return.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic, but it's a bit difficult to actually implement. I think, like, if you have people returning to many areas, if that becomes necessary, you will also have a lot of people complaining that they have to revisit all the areas. So
Yeah.
and so what can you really do with the areas that people have been once through? Maybe you can, like, so in areas that are more like quest hubs and the person will revisit anyway, yeah, you can add more characters and develop the characters over time. But more in wilderness area, where if you've been through a dungeon or something like that, I don't really know how you can. Of course, you could freshen it up a bit, like, but how many people will really want to revisit that specific location again?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is nice to sort of like just be like okay, we've done this area, and sort of like what's new? Let's find other things.
Mm.
Does chat have any questions at all? Because if not, I can just wax lyrical about the flesh cracking some more. He's just adorable. He's just a little bro. He's just, well, okay, a very large bro who you can, feed a friend to.
Yeah, I actually I thought he would be more menacing. But then I had the first playtest, and people were stopping there and saying, "Oh, he's cute."
I mean, it's definitely, a kind of menacing cuteness. It's just like, this thing is, I think it's the noises it makes.
Oh yeah.
It almost feels like a big, I don't know. Honestly, I get this like weird flesh cracking kind of elephant vibe from it. It's just like, it's like, oh, and it can't really, chase you around. It just kind of sits there being a flesh kraken. You hope. Please don't tell me it can run around. It's like, if it could
No,
move, it would be
it
decidedly
cannot.
less.
But the audio came in actually like a year ago. So the 5 years before, he already worked without any sounds, like that people saw something friendly also in him. And then we leaned a bit into that with the dialogue he got.
Oh, yeah, he's just like, hey, friend. Ah. As Mangled Pork says, humans will pack bond with anything, even flesh krakens. Yeah, yeah. You're cute. You're my friend now. That's it. What was I gonna say? Yeah. What's the deal with the naked guy?
I don't know, really. Like a game like this just needs a few weird elements, and it felt kind of wild. I can't really explain the naked guy, but to me, it fit right in. Like the whole game is like very dark and serious tones, but it needs also have a few very out there elements that are just on the opposite of that of those dark tones.
Yeah. I definitely I feel kind of bad about killing him.
Yeah.
I feel very bad about killing him. That was, but I did it anyway because I was just like, what happens if I kill? Oh my god, I can totally kill him. Oh no. Oh. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boba said, I can't really explain the naked guy is not a sentence I expected to hear today. Oh, a line noise wants to know why puke.
That's actually easier to explain. So, some of the early concept art, they also went like into depicting a bit of party style. So there were punks in this wasteland, and they were partying, and of course they drank too much, and then there was like they were pissing or there was puke. So everything was a bit dirty. And then when I began animating characters, I thought, oh, it could be an element that some characters also, yeah, just puking right in that moment. They get an animation for that. Let's do this. And because I was always posting so much stuff on Twitter with gifs, like just showing a bit of the game, and people were reacting to it. That was one of the elements where I saw, like, okay, this fun to play around with. Also, just as a game developer, okay, now we put like 30 characters in there, and they puke and they trigger themselves. So if one character sees another puke, they puke themselves, etc. So it's like, I think it's like a very natural game dev thing to expand on something like that. You find a bit, maybe it's a bit silly, but it still kind of fits with the game.
I love
Other
it.
people think also it's silly though. Like it was like a natural development.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, sort of like I love it. It's just like it's just like just there going like, oh yeah, cool. Just triggered the puke apocalypse. That's great. Love it. Yeah. Somebody saying about as well about the is it sort of like, yeah, don't touch the corpses. They're sorted. It's yeah. I've always loved the sort of like I think that's like some of your concept art and things were like when I first became aware of the game, and it's just like that because your pixel art is just really good. Love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was much of the stuff, like of the concept art images, was really done in the first few months. Like in it was a good flow of creating things, and the art and the humor and the feeling of the world, the atmosphere was really coming together.
Mhm.
It's still surprising to me how almost all of that happened in 2015. And then it was 5 or 6 years of just programming the game, making it
That's the
happen actually.
boring bit, you know. That's Would you consider yourself more of an artist or more of a programmer?
I'm both. So I started as a programmer,
Mhm.
but then back then I began developing my artist skills or whatever. And now I'm just both things, and I love doing both things. So those 6 years, it was never boring. It was
Ah.
like every task I work on, I think, oh yeah, that's cool. I like doing this.
That is lucky because sort of like I'm one of those people. I have an idea. I'm inspired. Now I have to actually sit down and do the thing. Okay, yeah, yep. That's oh squirrel. Basically, is unfortunately how my creative process goes. I have the ADHD half finished projects pile just there, making me feel
Oh,
bad.
you don't have to feel bad about them. I have dozens of them too, and that was always the case before I began working on Death Trash. Like I never really finished stuff, except very small stuffs.
Yep.
Uh, but but this project is it's different for me. Like I can just keep working on it without getting bored.
That is just the golden sort of like the golden chalice of just yes perfectness. That is oof. I like that. And it all seems to have worked out like incredibly well for you, like because the definitely the sort of critical reception to Death Trash has been really good.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like uh, way better than I expected. So I knew a few people would be interested in the game, but I wasn't so sure like how they would like this very first early access version, because it's a bit for some people it's maybe a bit not enough content right now. So the one playthrough is like 5 to 7 hours maybe, and for some people paying $20, it's just not enough. And yeah, so I was a bit skeptical, but in general, it's done so good, like way better than I imagined.
Yeah, it's like I'm sort of like, because I played through it when early access came out, and I was just like, this is fantastic, love it. And I'm now holding off until there is more content before I do another playthrough, because like otherwise it gets a bit stale when you're doing like
Yeah.
another playthrough, so it's
Yeah, ideally, so the best state of the game is, of course, when it's fully done and finished. Like doing early access is a compromise,
yeah,
but with this genre, and we are only 2 developers, like it's so complex. We need that constant feedback on the game. We need
yeah,
to have it played by lots of people to figure out like the design issues and all the bugs, of course. So I'm really happy about anyone already supporting us. That's so great. But I would also recommend anyone just more interested in the story campaign. Just you can just wait until the game is finished. Or there's also the free demo available. You maybe just give it a try for an hour or two, and then you decide on yourself if you want to
demo's
have the
fun.
thing now or just wait for the final thing.
Yeah, I highly recommend the demo. It is a good time, and the flesh dragon is so cute. But yeah, thank you very much, Stefan. It's vielen Dank, in fact. It has been absolutely wonderful talking to you. Thank you to everybody who's joined me today. It's been a great day. And now we are going to go and raid over into Cyberpunk Day. Hang on, let me just do that. Because it is, of course, Cyberpunk Day. So it'll be continuing over on twitch.tv/Cyberpunk Day. So yeah, I will catch you all later.